Hi there, and welcome to the delight of photography. And right now we're talking about travel photography, because I view travel photography as being a fascinating part of photography that sometimes we just ignore. So we're going to have a chance to continue talking about that. This is the third talk in travel photography. If you want to have a look at the first two, which obviously I recommend, if you click on the bottom right hand corner, it says subscribe, click there. It'll take you to the full range of videos that we've done so far, including the travel photography. And just to give you a background to some of the travel photography thoughts, because if you've just joined and haven't seen the first two, just to give you what we're talking about. But again, I would suggest you go back and start at day one, as it were. Whatever, we're going to continue talking. And one of the theories about travel photography is, are you getting full value from your cruises? This is aimed at cruises, obviously, but the whole talk is about travel photography. So if you're not on a cruise, if you just want to drive around the country even, you can still benefit from this. Are you getting full value? Because this is a way of making sure the money you spend doing whatever you're doing traveling comes back with more benefits as the years progress. Travel photography. Travel photography is the way in which we go away recording our travels so that we can revisit and share our experiences time and time again and really enjoy each revisit, because that's how you get best value out of your cruise. Get full value from your holiday. So the holiday is not just while you're on it, it's being able to revisit where you have been. In the digital age, cameras, phones, hard drives means you can end up with hundreds of images. And what do you do with all those images? You can just keep them as they are, which means you probably never look at them. You do a high-speed quick selection, or you do a careful selection, and you end up with my holiday. And that's really what we're talking about in this series of videos. You want to have something that makes it easy for you to structure something like this at the end of your holiday. So you want to put together a travel show, but you've got to enjoy doing it. It should be an objective that you get to do this before you go on your holiday. And you should enjoy it, because if it becomes a chore, you're probably not ever going to get down to doing it properly. So how do you add some form of structure to our travel show? And that's what we've been talking about in the first two sections of these talks. It's a recipe with a whole range of different ingredients. You've got this beautiful carcassonne, cassoulet, beautiful. That's what you want to end up with in terms of your travel show. And now we're continuing looking at the different categories that you can select. You can select any categories that you like because it's your show. What I've got are some suggestions of things that you can use and how you can structure them. So right now we talk about buskers. Buskers are fascinating. They can add interest as well as fascination to your travel show. This bunch in the main piazza with an amp, double bass, and they're playing wonderful music. I love this particular picture, the lady on the left and the gentleman in his Arab outfit with his bagpipes, of all things. Fiddler. And these guys are just amazing because they're using pipes that would normally be used in plumbing. And that provides a wonderful bass background to the music that they play. And these guys singing in a deserted cathedral. Just amazing atmosphere. And this is just for interest. When you see something interesting, you take the picture. You can also look at shop windows. Depending where you are, all the different countries have different styles of shop windows. Wedding shops. Fascinatingly, the way they decorate them. interesting. There are so many different window dressing pictures that you can take. Sail. Wonderful colors. Sometimes you can look for shadows. Shadows make it quite interesting as well. So you've got this whole collection of window displays that you can keep, and you can select from that as you're putting together your travel show rather, because it adds something of interest. Adds something of interest, like this doggy in the window. And it's a real live dog. It's not just a fake dog sitting there. So you want to do things like that. And then we look at food as a category. There's so many different images that you can take of food. And this particular one, this gentleman is fighting with the birds for his food. This is a rocamadour pizza, and in the middle is a whole camembert. I have to confess I could not finish eating this, but it was fantastic. So you take the image because it becomes a discussion point. When people work with patisseries and do beautiful things like this, again, it becomes fascinating. Wonderful art on the plate. And you sometimes need to remember when you're discussing travel, self-catering could well be part of it. And you want to show people that when you self-cater, it doesn't mean that you really starve. You can do wonderful things with self-catering. In fact, you can eat extremely well. Strawberries on a plate on the red tablecloth just looks delightful. And when you're doing your show and you're telling people where you went or you're remembering yourself, it's quite a good idea to have things in the show that tell people where you are, instead of having to keep saying, now we're going here, now we've gone here. For example, Westminster obviously means that you're in London, or the tube station. Carcassonne, just taking a signboard like this immediately says Carcassonne, obviously. Positano, where you are, Amalfi Coast. You're at Vesuvius. You're in Venice. Just using signs like this can be very effective. As you move around, whatever your travel show does, and if you've been on a cruise and you go to lots of different ports, this is a great way of highlighting which port you're at. And talking about photography, at the back of your mind sometimes when you're taking pictures of things that really impress you, you need to bear in mind that it's sometimes a very good idea to show scale, because the viewer doesn't really know how big things are. Because when you look at this mountain, it may well be an anthill perhaps. So if you include a person is fantastic, always gives a sense of scale of what you're looking at. Behind my face, down the bottom right hand corner, is a lady standing. There she is. It looks so much better. Scale. This lady at this amazing waterfall, the lady sort of mid-left on the picture, I think was crazy because there's no safety barrier and this was a lot of water. Scale again. Ephesus, the Library of Ephesus, which is an amazingly big building, but if you don't have anything to judge by, you don't understand quite how big it is. Amphitheatres, people. Corinth Canal, luckily you have some boats sailing through it, again gives you the idea of the amazing scale of the Corinth Canal. And here you just, people show how big or how extensive these ruins are. I sat for about 10 minutes waiting for these people to go so I could take my image. And then I thought, no, we must include them because that's going to give a sense of scale. Trains in Canadian Rockies. Niagara. Again, the people give an idea of how big the falls actually are. And something else that you can think about while you're taking pictures on your travels is, when do you take the picture? If you've got the luxury of deciding when you should visit somewhere. Do you do this in the early morning? If you're staying somewhere, you can get out in the early morning and you can take images before people come. So here you just have a cleaning cart working, which gives you a whole different feeling. If you wait till 10 o'clock, this is a Dubrovnik, this is what will happen. And if you're on a cruise, you'll be part of this. So you can't really decide when to take it. But if you have the option, take pictures before all the cruise people arrive. You can take it at night. It gives you a whole different feel to the city. Shoppers. During the day. If you've got the luxury of staying there, you can decide when you should go out and take the images in a way that suits you, or else take them at every single possible way you can, because you're not going to go back for a long time. And you want to decide how you want to take the pictures. Pictures in the evening after rain, and maybe if it's rain, go out and take the images. Reflections are wonderful. Again, we're talking scale, time of day. I mean, look at all the people. It's possible to take this picture of Ephesus with no people, but I have to say it's really, really difficult. Camels. Camels immediately establish where you are. You're somewhere in Arabia or some. So think about the pictures that you want to take, because you're going to add these to your travel show as you put your travel show together. When you want to add something of interest, you can add pictures of camels, for example, because they provide a good discussion point. But keep thinking about, as you travel, keep thinking about, what kind of pictures might I need when I'm putting together my travel show? And it's wonderful because at the end you have all these different images, and you can decide what category in which they should be. And you can just take them and gradually assemble your travel show, is the concept that I'm looking at the moment. Enjoy yourself, wherever you are. And ask yourself, are you getting full value from your cruise or from your holiday? And you can do that by building the travel show that you can look at afterwards and really, really enjoy. So thank you for joining me on this. Talk 3. Talk 4 is coming up in a few days' time. I hope to see you there again. And thank you very much for the time. Here we go.